Kelsey Forsyth. Most of you know her. And so that's, initially why I joined. And honestly, Brooke, you were a big part of why I joined too. I think having, an outside perspective of another distributor that wasn't so close to me was good too, like to just pick her brain. And I know her and Jordan were already in on it together. So, I thought about the idea of bringing my husband on, so being able to kind of pick her brain really helped me too. But my personal why for really like diving in and moving forward was I thought about the opportunity. And first of all, to me, it was such a low risk, high reward opportunity. And I thought to myself, if I could do this well enough to bring my husband home, that would be amazing. Because most people, they want to be stay-at-home moms. And I totally applaud women who do that. That's not me. I love my career. I'm an education and wait. Okay. I plan to be, running a school here in the near future. So like, I don't really want to give up my career. I just plan to do this as well. But I'd like for my husband to be home. He's in retail, has been for a long time. Those of you who ever worked in retail know the hours suck. They're awful. Right now he'll probably be home about 11:30 tonight. He misses a lot of time with the kids. And that even shows sometimes, like with my kids, and discipline, like they trust me even more than they trust him because he's never home. So I'd love to get him home. That's my why. That's what keeps me motivated. He's also a massage therapist licensed, and that's his real passion. So I know that if I can get him home, he could have the flexibility to then do that also. So that is my why.
I love that. That's awesome, and I'm glad that I had a part of it. I'm glad that I came to Nashville because I wasn't going to. I was like, I can't come for a weekend, and I just did. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. All right, I'm going to go to Rebecca next for this. I'm going to unmute you right now. And Rebecca, if you can just tell us first when you joined and why. Like, what was your reason behind joining? And if it's changed, you can, of course, tell us.
I joined back in February 2015, and I was in college when I joined, and I was just kind of following Jamie for like ever on Facebook, and I was like in college, so I was like, why not better join than now when I needed money and I was in school and I didn't have time for do anything else. So that was my why back then, but now like I just want to do it full time and have more freedom and do what I want to do, and I love the products, and I love the business, and I love all the friends that I've met along the way, and I just want to keep going.
Yeah, for sure. And when did you say that you joined? I can't remember the month.
February,
yeah. February 2015. So you joined. I mean, you've been with us for a long time, me, Katie, and you. Been together at it. So
every 2 months while we're at conference.
Yeah, that's so exciting that it will be your 2-year at conference. That'll be fun. Okay, so we're going to go on to Katie Thompson. Thank you for sharing that with us. And I just want to hear from Katie Thompson on why you joined and when you got started, just to give them a little bit background of who's speaking.
Hello, everybody. My name's Katie. I joined in March of 2016, so almost a year ago. I started up with Katie McGowan, actually. We went to high school together, and probably a year before I started, my little sister had a party for Katie, and I bought a couple of wraps from her because I wanted to try them, and I wanted my husband to try them, and I liked them, and I knew they worked. And so when I started seeing some of her posts in March of last year, they were the posts that kind of went something like, hey, if you're a mom and you want some extra money, or you want, I see you there, you're contemplating starting up this company, starting with this business. I really was like, that seems like kind of a cool thing to do. Like, I should see like how I can make $200 extra, because at the time my husband was wondering like, hey, can you try and pick up some extra hours at the barber shop, because it was cash. And it's hard when you have 3 kids to just get a babysitter, or to have someone pick your kid up at school and tote around a baby and a toddler. Like, that's a difficult thing. So for me, I kind of wanted to just tell my husband, like, I got this. Like, I can make X amount of dollars with It Works and X amount of dollars with the barbershop and stuff. So that's kind of why I started. But my why now is really to be able to bring my husband home. My husband does sales for a home improvement company. So he leaves the house at about 9 a.m. and he doesn't come home till about 9 p.m., maybe even later. So he misses out on a lot of stuff. And it's heartbreaking when your kids say, is dad going to be home? And you're like, no, he'll be home later. And they're like, oh, okay. So like one of the biggest things is to like bring my husband home from work so that he can really enjoy our family like I get to enjoy our family. So time is what I'm looking for in my why is really to get time to enjoy what we have. So
I love that. And the reason, like the biggest reason why I wanted to have them share that, and as we go on weeks and having our weekly Zooms, is like all 3 of them said about the same thing. Like Katie Thompson was watching Katie McGowan for a while. She had got introduced to the Raps a year prior to that and just kind of sat on it and didn't do anything, but was continuously watching. Rebecca was watching Jamie the whole time, and Ashley was watching her sister. Like, you just never know who's watching you, and that's why it's so important to be consistent and excited, because people see that, they're watching you, and they're just waiting for like that post that says, hey, I know that you're contemplating doing this, you should just jump in. And one day they're going to message you and tell you, like, I'm ready to do this. So we are going to, Katie McGowan isn't going to make it on tonight. We will do a special Zoom with her a different time. But we're going to go to Ashley. And I'm really excited for this question for her, because if you don't know, Ashley is a teacher, a mom, and a cheer coach. And she still rocks this business. So I'm asking her, what are your biggest tips for managing your time?
Okay, so yes, like Brooke said, teacher, high school cheerleading coach. So those of you who are familiar with that, that's like literally all year it goes. And I'm very serious about it. So we're not just like halfway doing it. So it's very, very time consuming. And then on top of that, I'm actually a teacher leader. So I do a lot of things within the administrative levels and that kind of stuff. So I am very busy, but the more I've gotten into the business, I have realized that the busier you are, the better you can be at this, because you can manage your time. So I literally use every spare moment I have. I post on any break that I have, pee breaks, in the car before I leave. Like, I'll just sit in my car and post or message people. Like, every spare second I get, I'm using it to do something for my business. And I also think too, what's important is, like, I know that when the nights that I'm home, that I don't have ball games or whatever, I know that between the hours of 5 and 8, I'm not really going to have the opportunity to message people or really interact, because I need to focus on my kids at that point. I've got to cook dinner. I've got to give them a bath. I've got to do their bedtime routines. So I think making sure that time stays that time is really important as well. I think it's really important to always be working off of a list. You may, have your hundreds list or whatever, and you may only get to a few a day, but that's okay as long as you're getting to a few a day. 5 to 10 is always a good goal to start with, and then work your way up from there. The other thing that I think is really big a blessing to me, and I don't know if everybody has this same opportunity, but when my husband is home and there's times that he can give me a couple of hours, he's very good about that. Like, I'll say, I gotta have about 2 hours of just straight focus time. So he gives me that, and I kind of shut myself away and work, really hard without any distraction. So using those moments. And the other thing that I would say about using my time is, when I am on social media, I think I try to use that time intentionally. So I wasn't always like that. Like, I was scrolling. I was kind of doing it aimlessly. But now when I'm on Facebook, I am looking at potentials, people that I want on my team. I'm looking at their profiles. I'm commenting on their profiles. I'm liking their stuff. And so I'm doing it very intentionally. I'm posting intentionally. I may not post, 10, 12 times a day, but I'm going to post quality posts. I like to try to do the 3x3 rule, 3 It Works posts, 3 non-It Works posts. And I also like to make sure at least one interactive post is in there today, every day. Like I know you guys have probably seen this one before, but it said, give 4 words to ruin a first date. I've had so people commenting on that. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, how old were you when you had your first kid? I mean, who knew? Like, so when you are on social media, use your time wisely. That's also a time management skill. Don't just be doing it just to do it. And then the last thing is with self-development. Like I drove an hour and a half to a ball game last night. What was I doing the whole time I was driving? I was listening to YouTube videos, on It Works, on tips, on strategies. So any spare moment I have, I use it. I don't necessarily have like a set structure. I just use every moment that I have.
That's perfect. Like, I hope that everybody took that in, because I know that everybody has their own responsibilities and their own kind of lifestyles that they have, but that's awesome. And I love that you said about the social media being intentional, because it can make or break. I mean, you can honestly feel like you are working so hard because you've been on Facebook all day long, and your family will start saying you've just been on your phone all day long, but you're not enrolling anything. And it's because you're just scrolling and you're just, you're watching funny videos all day long or looking at memes, or just be intentional, because you can get a lot done in, like Ashley said, 2 hours. If you just really focus and you got your potential leads out and search their names and liked their most recent posts and told them a thoughtful comment, that's what I do too. And it helps, because if you comment on their stuff, like I've talked about before, it pushes right up into their news feed.
And I've really seen that recently, like how often these people that I am interested in being on my team, how often I see their posts.
Yeah. Seriously, like it's huge, because it really is. It's huge. Facebook has this weird algorithm where they just know who likes each other and who comments and whatnot. So, okay, so we are going to Rebecca. We're going to skip over to Rebecca next. I think Katie went before, but she's not there. If you can see, she had to go talk to her kids about something, she said. So we're going to go to Rebecca next. Rebecca has an amazing system for how she stays organized with her potentials and leads. So I just wanted to have her share that with you guys, because it's a huge part of this business. If you're very organized with your leads and you know who you need to be speaking to, you're going to start noticing more and more enrollments. So go ahead, Rebecca. I will unmute you right now. Unless you know how. Here. Unmute. Okay.
Like Ashley said too, like really stick to your list, and like don't just be scattered all over the place, because people who are once interested are still interested, and that don't change. Like they don't just get non-interested. They're always going to be interested in something. So I got this little folder that I got from the dollar store. And it got a little slot for each month. And in each month, and I fold them like with a little bit of extra room on the top so I can write, and then all my leads on there, or dates or anything. I have one that says potential loyals, potential distributors, and enrollment for each month. So I always try to keep up with who is interested in being a loyal distributor, and anybody that is already enrolled, I try to keep up on their auto shipments, because some people gotta tend to forget, and they get like double shipments sometimes, and they'll say like, oh, like I didn't want to order that, and then they got to go through the process of sending things back or stuff like that. So I found that keeping up on auto shipments really helped my business, because they might order something bigger rather than forgetting about it and just ordering like just a bottle of greens or just a fat fighters. Sometimes they orders like more when they realize is like, oh, it's time to change. And I also got an enrollment sheet that whenever I'm at parties or at, just a second, I got lost in it.
This is seriously one of my favorite things ever, because for those of you who don't know, we used to have order forms in our kits, but we don't get those anymore. And so Rebecca put together an order form that is going to really help you with parties and stuff that I can post into Go Getters tonight, and it's going to help a lot.
So I made a same sheet for loyals and distributors, and I just like circled distributor or loyal on top, and I got just a loyal box. So if this is just for loyals, so they can write in their first 3 months, and like I always ask if I roll this way, like, do you want me to change them each month? And I'll just put this with my like shipments within the next 3 months, and I'll just go in and change it for them once every month, and then they can choose their shipping method. And then this is for both distributors and loyals. So in the country, full name, gender, mailing address. Same as shipping, yes or no. And if it's no, I'll just get them to write the shipping address or mailing address on the side. Email, birth date, phone number, a password they need to create. Their name on the card number, expiry date, and the number on the back. And I just got like, if this is for distributors, if this the website name or their social insurance number, because you don't need that for loyals. And I just like kind of made it a bit more professional for people who feels a bit skeptic. I said enrolling distributor signature, and I'll always sign my name on the bottom, just making them feel more comfortable just being seen. It's 100% like confidential. Never share any other my teammates or anything like that. And some people will ask for it to be destroyed after I enroll them, and some people don't care, but I always give them the option to destroy the card information part, and I'll just keep like their social change. But I find I really like parties of getting people enrolled, because like some people don't have their phone or something goes wrong, and some people listen on paper.
You're cutting out for some reason.
It really helped me at parties.
Here, let it catch up. Is it cutting out for anybody else? It is? Okay, I just want to make sure it's not just me, because my connection sometimes gets weak. I'm going to wait until you unfreeze, and then I'll have you go again, just so that it's a little bit easier. I think it's just dragging.
What was the last thing you heard?
Just about how you have the order forms with you, and that's the last thing I heard. So just making it like look more professional, right?
Yeah, I always like sign my name on the bottom to give them a bit more assurance that it's more like confidential, and I'm not just going sharing it with people. And I'll always give them the option to destroy their card information part if they don't want it like kept on file or whatever, which is understandable too. So they've really helped at parties, because like some people wants to like sign on paper, or like some people don't really get like technology is a new paper these days, and older people tend to go to for a lot more too.
Yeah, I think that's perfect, especially like when I would have vendor shows and things, just having a sheet of paper for somebody to physically write down like what they're interested in and take those away has helped a lot. So you can post it in the group too if you want, but they want us to post that after. Thank you for that. I'm excited for everybody to be able to have that. And Rebecca, also the other Rebecca, said that there are a type of order forms in eSuite. I've never seen those before, so I'll have to go and look. I don't know why I don't know about that. Okay, so Katie is next. The question is, what is something you think is important to do for your business every day?
Something that I think is important for you to do for your business every day it's more for you rather than for like other people seeing you, but you have to stay organized. When you're in high school, you have like a planner, and even like my 8-year-old is in third grade and she has a planner. So she writes down every single thing that she did that day, and then she has to explain it to us, and then we sign it at the end of the night. And so if like I've been in this business for almost a year now, and if I don't write it down somewhere, I'm going to forget it. Like I have 3 kids, I have a husband, we have animals, I have a part-time job. I'm going to forget your name. Then I talked to you yesterday. Like if we don't continue our conversation, all day today and all day tomorrow, you're lost in my Facebook log, basically. So to something for your business, like you have to stay organized. You have to have a list, even if it's a notebook and you put today's date on it and you write down what you did and what you want to do tomorrow. Then tomorrow you can look back on it and say, oh, I should touch base with this person because she never responded back. Or maybe she did respond back and you didn't respond back. You could just be lost in la la land and there goes a potential because you forgot to respond back. So, but it's also good because for some reason, Tuesday for me seems to be my slow day of like things to do for my business. So on Tuesdays, I go back in my planner and my notebook and look, oh, I talked to so-and-so on this day, or I need to fix my mom's auto shipment, or I need to touch base with this girl and see if she got paid enough so she can order greens this week. Like if you're organized, it's going to make your days run so much better. But also, like I said, Tuesday is my slow day. So sometimes I'm like, what do I do today? I've posted a handful of times. I responded to my messages from this morning or from last night. I don't know what else to do. You know, you have a full everybody has the same full 24 hours in a day. You just have to make sure you're using it wisely. You have to make sure that every minute is accounted for. And then you're going to feel like, wow, I spent 3 hours today working my business and it was a solid 3 hours. So that if you don't get any more time till tomorrow, at least you know you're very, very productive and organized in that 3 hours. So if you have a log to look back on from the last 4 days or 4 months, it's so easy to just scroll back through your pages or your planner and say, oh, wow, here's a handful of people, and it's like getting new potentials when in reality you already worked those people. So that would definitely be my tip.
I agree completely. Organization is huge, and it's something that I've really struggled with. But like Ashley Curry said in the chat, she told me about this High Achievers Playbook, and it's a planner, and I've been doing it for 2 or 3 days. I can't even remember now. See, I'm not organized. I don't know how many days I've been doing it, but it has changed everything for me, and I'm loving it. I will post a link or have Ashley post a link into the Go-Getters, and you should check it out. It's $41, but it honestly gives you a year's worth of planner, and what it has you do is specifically for network marketing. So it's not just like a planner that you pick up at Meijer. It's a planner that is for network marketing, and it even has a book list, an audio list, a video list that you need to watch and listen and read to be successful. So it's awesome. I'm really excited. So thank you, Ashley, for sharing that with me because, yeah, I would be lost without it. That's my biggest goal for 2017 is to stay organized. All right, so we're going on to Ashley, and this is her last and final question. Is what is your biggest tip / advice for what you've done to find so much success?
Okay, so we had a team meeting last weekend, and it was awesome. And I think that is one thing that's important, is just pouring into your team as much as you can, giving them tips, giving them advice. I think that's step one because you have to lead by example if they're going to grow. So, you know, leading your team is important. The second thing I would say, and it's 2 words, and you guys have heard them over and over if you've been a part of this business for any length of time, but that is consistency and relationships. Okay. Consistency, we know, stay consistent in posting. I'll give you an example of why I know that works. Just today, I posted a very simple status. Would you be interested in making $500 from your smartphone? I had 2 or 3 people message me from that. One I had been kind of talking to anyway. The other girl had not even heard a word from her. But she messaged me and was curious. And I said to her, well, how much do you know about my journey so far? What can I help you with in terms of asking questions? She said, well, I've really been following you from the beginning, and you've been very inspiring to me. Like, I'm ready to lose some weight, and I really think that maybe using these products could be beneficial, and I really also would enjoy, I think, getting into the opportunity. So she and I are talking later tonight. The other girl, we have a phone date tonight after this. So That's 2 more distributors that I am potentially, strong distributors that I could possibly enroll, all because I was consistent. As far as relationships go, and this is something I really shared with my team and kind of pushed hard at our meeting last weekend, was that, and again, I did not do this in the beginning, but when you're adding people, don't just add anybody. Look, kind of skim if you can through their profile. Are they somebody that you would want on your team, or are they somebody you know could use the products? Don't just add any Joe Blow, because then you're just filling your news feed with nonsense, okay? And then the second thing is part of that relationship building is then, like I said in the last question, going back, liking their posts, commenting genuinely on what they're doing, asking them questions. And this has worked a lot for me. I've gained some new customers because of this, a lot more new followers who are really engaged in my posts, who I know it's just a matter of time before they sign up. And so I am interested in their lives. I'm building relationships with them. These are people that I went to high school with, people I barely know, but now I'm forming relationships and they know that I care about them because I genuinely do. But more of a strategic approach to that is when you add them onto your Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Well, I don't know if you can do this with Instagram, but with Facebook, you can actually go under follow, and you can change it to see post first. So these newer people that you're adding that you're very interested in, they're going to come up on your newsfeed first so that you can then like and comment on all of their things. Then the next step to that, you don't want to just cold message them out of nowhere. They're never going to sign up for that. Like, they want to know you care. It's kind of the old teacher mentality. They don't care to learn unless they know you care. Like, it's very cheesy, but it's super true. And so after that happens and you guys have built a conversation, then it will make a lot more sense when you reach out to them and say, hey, girl, I can't help but just think that you'd be amazing on my team. Would you be interested? And they're at least going to go back and forth with you and have a conversation. They're not going to ignore you. And so I think that is exactly how I've had so much success recently. I'm over 7 months in at this point, and I think people are just now getting to the point where they believe what I'm doing. So that consistency, and then just those relationships. They enjoy watching me. I'm silly. I'm vulnerable. I post my own weight. I'm about to rap live after this tonight. Like, I put it all out there, and I'm honest with people, and I think that they enjoy that.
I love that. Seriously, that's what it's all about. Consistency in relationships is huge, but just like you just said, is being honest and just being yourself. Like, they don't need another Brooke Colleen and it works. They need another you. They need somebody that's going to just be themselves and create. Like, you can't create a relationship with somebody if you're pretending to be something you're not, and just be yourself and work it that way. That's a huge thing that I think makes people successful and makes people stand apart from somebody else, is that. Okay, so I'm going to go to Rebecca. And okay, so we have 7 minutes left, so let's keep these at like 2 to 3 minutes, Rebecca and Katie. But this one is, do you have any tips to share for blitzing and getting contact information, or just anything of the sort that you found has helped you with blitzing? All right, there you go, Rebecca.
I won't be long because I'm not the best at blitzing, but main thing is always be yourself, because trying to be this like salesy person just don't work. You need to show you and who you are, and you just got to show that you're completely in love and passionate about what you're trying to give out. But always have a blitz card or a business card on hand. And if you don't have a blitz card, you can just pull up a picture on your phone and ask them for your email. Actually, Brooke told me this one to try, and it actually worked the other day. So pull up your blitz card picture, ask them for their email, and when they give you their email, you can say, I'll send you my coupon through your email. Then you have their contact information to get back to them. You're not just leaving everything in the air by passing out blitz cards or business cards and never hearing from them ever again. But if you have their information, you can get right back in contact with them again. Another thing is rat gear. Rat gear have always helped me. Someone always notices my shirt when I wear it. And back to my enrollment pages again, people always like to give like information like in front of them. They don't just want to be like throwing it out there everywhere. When they see it in front of them, they want to like, they're more obligated, or they're not obligated, they feel more comfortable sharing their information than just putting it onto your eSuite or onto an enrollment from your phone.
Yeah, I agree. Like having that piece of paper and giving them options for, okay, what are you interested in? And this is something I'm going to post also. There's these little tiny square sheets that you can have in your purse, and you can pass them out to people and say, hey, if you fill this out, I will enter you to win a free wrap. And on there, it's going to ask them what they're interested in, if they're interested in hosting a party, products, all of this. But like Rebecca said, if you do not get contact information for blitzing, I promise you, you are wasting your time. And I guess I say that kind of like, not really lightly, because you never know. Somebody might actually take you up on it. You might really have an impact and they might call you. But some people's lives are busy, as we can see. And so if you don't get that contact information, you're weighted on if they want to call you or text you. And if you have their information, then you are in control and you can like restart that connection and ask them if they're still interested. So make sure that you're getting contact information. It's going to feel really weird at first asking somebody for their phone number or their email or their Facebook username, but the more you do it, the less scary it's going to be, I promise. Okay, and then, so this is Katie's last one, and it's, can you talk to us about how important plugging in is?
It is so important, you guys. Like, they don't do a Sunday night call, a Monday night call, and team Zooms for no reason. Like, Sunday night call is at 10 o'clock. If you have kids, you know that those kids are in bed already because school is tomorrow. And so you know that you can get on the 10 o'clock call. It's 15 minutes usually. And it's basically Mark, Pam, and Mike just talking about the week and talking about, like, you will get so many little things, and then that will like start a fire under your butt. Like, oh my gosh, they said something about, oh, they said some little innuendo, or they said a little something about boom this, and now there's going to be a boom sale, and you get so excited. And then Monday night call is with Pam, and she's usually interviewing at least one person, if not 2, 3, or 4. And that is like such a huge call. If you want someone, if you have a potential who's a friend, get them on Monday night's call, because it's an hour long. They can listen anywhere from their phone, while they're driving home, while they're sitting at the restaurant, while they're sitting on your couch, and they will connect with someone on that call. I promise you, every single time. There's times where I like don't even care that my kids are still awake and it's 9 o'clock on a school night, because I'm listening to this call, and then my husband walks in and I'm like, oh my gosh, you'll never believe what they were talking about tonight. And he's like, cool, babe, that's great, that's awesome. But the times he's listened, he's like, oh my gosh, did you hear that? That guy, I might be like him.
I take something away from the call, and I do sales completely different.
My husband just said he takes things away from these phone calls, and he does a completely different kind of sales industry than we do. He sells home improvement, so clearly different than health and wellness products. But, and then simply like get on a Zoom chat with your team. Like, Jamie and Thomas and Brooke and like, I know Katie McGowan, like everybody's team has little Zoom things. Like, get on them. Like, why not? Like, even if you're on them for 15 minutes, and if you can't get on it, watch the recording, comment that you watched it, thank someone. Like, it is so important to plug in, and it's so easy. Like, I have 3 kids. I have a husband. I have a part-time job. I have a zoo at my house. Like, it's so easy to listen to a phone call or even listen to the Zoom while you're doing something. It's so easy.
I agree. And it gets you excited. Like, that's the whole point. If you didn't need a team and you didn't need that, that community, then they wouldn't have you join a team. You would just join your own individual business and you would just be alone. Exactly. I take so much from Zooms, and even just sitting here with you guys and just listening to my team talk about their tips and advice has me excited, and I just want to go and work now. I'm so excited to go reach out to people and post and just do a bunch of stuff. So we have less than a minute left, so I just wanted to thank Ashley, Katie, and Rebecca for being on here and sharing your tips. I've recorded this, so I will post it as soon as it uploads so I don't forget. and tag your teams in it because I think it was amazing and a lot of people are going to take these tips, and go run with them. So thank you guys for being on, and we will be doing weekly Wednesday Zooms for the rest of January and I'll be at conference next month, but we will be doing weekly Zooms. All right. Have a good night, and we will post all those tips and stuff into the Go Getters.
Bye.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye, guys.